Dobry
Zdravejte.
and welcome back to our little Bulgarian adventure.
Yes, we've had quite an eventful week this week, really.
We have.
Yes.
So it did start off quite slowly.
Well, it started off quite surreally, really.
Did it?
We had a visit
Oh yes.
from some cows.
I was washing up in the kitchen and looked out the window to find a cow staring at me. So the shepherd had brought them the cow herd had brought them into our top field.
Yeah.
And was wandering around, so we had a little chat with him.
Well, sort of, yes.
Yeah.
As is my way.
Yeah. I think we've managed to communicate.
I think so.
We definitely talked about cow's milk at some point.
We did. So he spent about an hour, sat on the bench by the campfire, having a cigarette, talking on his phone. If we're not using it, I don't mind him using it.
Yes, and I got free manure. And we had our field grazed.
Yeah, so win-win, I think. Well, that was Friday afternoon. Saturday morning, I decided I'd get on with a job that I've been putting off for quite a while, but it didn't quite go according to plan.
No, I was sat here in the bedroom, and there was this almighty noise from outside.
That was me.
I thought you'd broken your leg.
I hadn't broken my leg.
No, but it looked like that. When I rushed out the door, there was Adam yelling at the top of his voice, and that 18 square metres of wood flooring on his leg.
Yeah, not the best place for it.
No. We had to lever it off with a piece of wood.
Yeah.
And I was convinced he'd broken his leg, but he hadn't.
No. I did take Saturday and Sunday off
Yes.
as recovery time. But the work started again on Monday. And it's a job I've actually been putting off for, must be over a year now.
Yes, connecting the two houses. You were quite convinced the wall was going to come tumbling down on us.
Yes, we had to put a doorway between the top house and the bottom house. The first step, of course, was to put lintels in. This is how we went about it. My first job is to measure and cut these two posts in half. That'll give me the 4 lintels. The way I'm going to do this is measure it, mark it, and then try and cut it with an angle grinder. Haven't done that before, so we'll see how it works. I've now marked out where the lintel's going on the wall. That's the length of it, that's the length and depth of the height I have to cut into the wall. I think my first thing to do is to remove the plaster, see exactly what's behind there. I think it's mud brick, but I need to double check. So with the universal multi-tool, I'll start cutting through the plaster. So that's the outline traced of where we're going to go. The next stage is to remove the plaster and see exactly what's behind it. So this is what's behind the plaster. As suspected, it's mud brick. That makes it easy to channel out. We go in halfway from this side, put the joists in, and then drill through to show us where we need to put the joists from the other side. Hopefully that's going to work. We'll soon find out. That's the first side channeled out. It's 8 centimetres across the height, It's 115 centimetres along the length. There you can see the little notch where the wall will be cut out, so that's how much support we've got each end. The next job to do is to make sure that the hole is deep enough for putting both the rafters in from this side. Now the rafters are 8 centimetres wide, and then the hole needs to be 20 centimetres deep. So rather than keep lifting up the rafters, which as you can imagine are very heavy, I found this 8 centimetre wide piece of wood. I'll put a line at the 20 centimetre mark, and I can use that in the hole to make sure it's long enough for the rafters and deep enough for the rafters. I'm now down at the bottom end of the house. What I did was I drilled a couple of holes here in the corners so I could see where the lintel was on the other side. I've marked with the blue pen where I need to cut out on this side. It goes all the way along to here to there. So once I've got that out, I'll be able to put the new lintels in. We're going to be coming through the wall all the way up there. It's a lot higher than the doorway we want, but we thought it's best to keep the lintels horizontal. I can always rebuild back from the top of the door, above the stairs, all the way up to the lintel and just fill it in. But that shows the difference in height between the top half of the house and the bottom half. That's the lintel in position. It's been cemented in, so just waiting for that to dry. On the other side of the lintel is in a dry wall, so I can start removing some of that, some of the material that's going to come out of the doorway. But the first job I've got to do here is that cable that's running along. It went in when we had to rewire, and as is often the case, we've changed the location of where the socket is going. So I've now got to move that so that I can come through the wall without danger of breaking or cutting through the cable. So that's the lintels in, and you can see the wall didn't fall down, and it still hasn't. So.
Yes, they're reinforced concrete, aren't they?
They are,
steel
yes.
in the middle of them, so I think they're going to do the job for us.
Traditionally, wooden lintels are used. Also, you have to excuse my loose use of terminology. Lintels, rafters, joists. For me, they're interchangeable. I know the terminology is wrong half the time, but
as long as the wall doesn't fall down, we don't get it.
And it just shows that I've no formal training.
I'm sure that shows.
I think it does, yeah.
We had our Bulgarian lesson on Tuesday.
We did, and we're coming on, I don't know if it's in leaps and bounds, but it seems to be getting, it makes more sense.
Yes. It's starting to sink in a little bit, I think.
Yes. So soon we'll be talking to you in Bulgarian, but not until we're ready.
No. We're still only on lesson 3.
4.
Or 4.
Yes. We know I have and I don't have, so that's good.
Yeah. So Wednesday and Thursday was back to the hole in the wall.
It was. There's no point only doing half the job, so we got on and did the other half. I've now marked out where the doorway is going. It's got to cut through the plaster to get to the mud brick. And once we're at the mud brick, we can start removing as much material as we can to make a hole in the wall. So now I've started making the hole in the wall. I've got a hole each side. So now what I'm going to do is take out the mud brick from the top, and that should give me a whole slot along the top underneath the joist that you can see there, ready for the doorway to be put in place. Now that I'm beginning to get the plaster and the mud render off of the bricks, you can actually see how the wall's built. It's a layer upon layer of mud brick, which has been rendered over, which you can kind of see. The sun coming in the window doesn't help, but you can see where it's been rendered over with a mud, kind of a mud render, and then plastered over the top. So what I've done is I've cut down each side of the door. I'm now taking the render off, which will allow me to take the bricks off, hopefully complete, which will make it a little bit less messy. I say a little bit less messy because it's already very messy, but we'll see how we go. All the bricks have now been removed, all the mess, all the dust, all the rubble, all the plaster, all gone off to various places around the property where it will be used in future projects. And now we have our doorway, or at least the gap for a doorway, from the top half of the house down to the bottom half of the house. From the bottom end of the house, it looks like this. From our bedroom door, we can see directly through to the other door. We will be putting some steps in, and the ladder is only a temporary measure. It does show that for the first time since the house was built, the top house is now connected to the bottom house without having to go outside. Our next job is floorboards in the other room, but that can wait till next week.
Yes, it almost seems a bit of a shame. Now we've actually got a connecting hole between the two houses that we're now going to rip the floor up. So we can't walk across it. We'll still
have to go outside for the time being, but one step at a time.
Yeah, or a staircase.
Or a staircase at a time, yes. Yes, we're not sure exactly how big the job is that we've got to do with the floorboards. The joists, I believe they are, do feel a little bit bouncy underneath that floor. So we'll just...
Yes, and we can see some rot underneath from the cellar, but we don't know quite how much yet or how deep it is. So
we'll discover as we go along, like we usually do.
Yeah, we have bought enough joists to replace the whole lot if we need to, but we're going to see what's there.
And two spare, just in case.
Buy them while you can.
Yes. That was my big tip that I've discovered doing this work. Get as much material on site before you start the job. It makes it so much easier.
Well, you don't have the panic about having to go and negotiate in Bulgarian.
No. Or also suddenly realise there's something you need that you forgot. There will be that, but...
The less you do that, the better.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's this week's work done, as we're having a day out tomorrow.
We are.
We're off to Palamarza.
Yes, Mike and Naomi, who used to own this house, are involved with organising a special day in Palamarza tomorrow.
Yep, it's a bring and buy and barter day.
Yes, people are bringing it. There's an element of car boot about it, where people are bringing stuff that they want to sell. There's also people bringing produce from their gardens, things they make at home, even services. And you can pay with cash, but you're being encouraged to barter.
So we thought we'd go along and see what it's all about.
Absolutely. We will, of course, take you with us next week. You can see what happened. Hopefully, it's going to be a resounding success. If you're in the area tomorrow, it starts at 2 o'clock.
1 o'clock for sellers.
If you're a seller, 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock if you're not. But yes, we'd love to see you there. The more the merrier.
I think you can find details about it on the Expats in Popovo group.
Yes, you can.
So if you want any further information.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it for us this week.
Yes, I think you're fully up to date. So until next week.
Stay safe.
Be well.
Do skoro.
Do skoro.